Alright, so this video is a supplement to a feature I'd done in the March 2008 issue of Photoshop User where I talked about video and rotoscoping inside Photoshop CS3 Extended. And what we're going to do in this video is kind of demonstrate those principles of rotoscoping, because reading it in an article is one thing, but seeing it in action is an entirely different thing, and it gives you a better understanding. I know it helped me, so that's what I wanted to do here. And we're going to do a couple of things. So the first thing is, in this image, we're going to actually animate a lightning bolt coming out of the clouds here and then coming down and hitting the water. We're going to do that through rotoscoping. So the first thing we need to do is actually create a video layer that this will animate in. So we'll just go into the layer menu and choose video layers, and we're going to choose new blank video layer. And it goes ahead and creates the layer, and the film icon indicates that it is in fact a video layer. If I drag my playhead through the animation, we can see nothing happens because there's nothing on those layers yet. So that's what we need to add in. So let's go ahead and configure our brush so that we can draw our lightning into our image. So I'm going to select the brush tool, and let's go in here into the brush options, and let's modify the brush a little bit. Let's take this size actually up to, using my right bracket key, let's take it to about an 8 pixel. And I'm going to modify the angle a little bit and just kind of squeeze this in ever so slightly. Maybe not that wide. And then I'm going to activate the shape dynamics here, and I'm going to take the size jitter and take it all the way to 100. And you can see it kind of gives me an interesting effect there. In fact, I can paint a sample in here just to get an idea of what I'm getting. So with that size jitter set to 100%, I'm going to change the control. In fact, it's already set there. I'm going to go ahead and leave it at pen pressure. Ordinarily, it'd probably be off if I didn't have a pen plugged into my system. But I am in fact using a pressure-sensitive tablet, so I'm going to go ahead and leave this to pen pressure. And that's all I'm going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. I'm just going to draw a sample line here because I need to apply a layer style to complete the lightning effect. So with that layer active, I'm going to apply a layer style to it just like I would any other layer. And the beauty is the layer style is consistent throughout the entire video clip. It doesn't just apply it to one layer, it's consistent throughout the entire video clip. So let's go ahead and apply an outer glow here. So in the effects menu, go to outer glow. And I'm going to click this icon and change the color of the lightning. Let's give it kind of a bright bluish color. Kind of goes along with this color of the sky and everything like that. I'm going to take that opacity all the way up. And I do believe that looks pretty good, so I'm going to click OK. And if I don't like it, obviously, I can go back and change it because it's a layer style. Now you can see it's applied the layer style directly to my video clip, but it's better than that. It's editable. We can always go back and change it whenever we need to. So let's move on. I'm going to go ahead and delete what I've drawn here because I don't need it. I just needed it for the sake of setting up my layer style, but now that I've done that, I can delete it and we can start to animate our lightning. So I'm going to position my playhead at the point where I want the lightning to appear, which is in this case I guess would be about the 2-second mark. So that way it'll play a little bit and then it'll get to the 2-second mark and then whoosh, our lightning will crash in. So at the 2-second mark, I'm going to, on my video layer, we're just going to go right up here into the top here and just going to start drawing my lightning coming out of the sky. So I'm just drawing it just a little ways and then I'm stopping because I'm going to advance to the next frame. Now when I do that, I click this next frame icon. Notice that what I just drew disappeared because it's on the previous frame. We've advanced to the next blank frame, which is going to give us nothing because it's a blank frame. But I need to be able to see what I just drew so I can continue on tracing over and finishing my animation. Well, that's where onion skinning comes into play. And that's this little icon right here at the bottom of the animation panel. So I'm going to go ahead and activate it. And if you don't like the settings or you don't see an immediate change, you can always go inside here and choose onion skin settings and modify it. Here you can set the number of frames before and the number of frames after your current frame that you want to see. So I'm going to go ahead and leave these at 2. Frame spacing, I'm just going to leave it 1, and the opacities, I'm just going to leave it 25. The big difference is here, the blend mode. Now depending on the lightness or darkness or what it is you're trying to animate in your image, each one of these blend modes might make it a little bit more visible for you. Of course, normal isn't going to show me much of anything in this case. Multiply, not really seeing the lightning I already drew. Screen, that's there vaguely, but it's not really helping me much. So in this case, difference is going to be the best option because it's showing it. I can clearly see it right there. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it at that. Let's go ahead and click OK. So now I'm on that next frame. So there's my first frame. Advance to my second. Now I can see my previous frame as in difference mode. So it gives me the ability to trace over it more accurately. So I'm just going to start at that beginning point again, trace over, and when I get to the end, I'm just going to go a little bit further. And then we'll do it again. Next frame, advancing, just tracing over it, advancing a little bit further. Next frame. And now you can start to see how tedious rotoscoping can be. Now this is just quick and crude, but imagine if you were doing some really intricate work. You can see how long this would take. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and have another branch of lightning coming off this way. So let's go to the next frame. Tracing over, tracing over. I'm varying my pressure on my tablet as I go just to give that lightning a little bit of, varying weight as it starts to come down. Let's trace over this one and we'll advance this one over a little bit. Next frame. Tracing over. Coming down a little bit more. Now how much you advance beyond your previous frame is going to determine how fast or slow the animation appears to go. The further you go, the faster it's going to be because it's jumping over more space in less time. The less you advance it, the slower it's going to appear to go. So, and this just comes with practice. So let's just draw this line out here and kind of come out like that. Next frame. Tracing over, tracing over. We'll just go ahead and get this one all the way down to the water. And we'll just bring this one down, and maybe we'll go ahead and have this one hit the water too. But I'm also going to have another branch starting to come off to connect the two, which we'll do in the next frame. Let's have this coming down. And you don't have to be overly precise when you're when you're tracing over. It's got to be close enough to give an idea of the previous frame. And then we'll just kind of bring that right about here. So there it is. So I've only done just a few frames. You can see how far I've gone. I've only gone 7 frames. So you can hear, just go over. Now obviously I can see what's going on because I've still got my onion skinning on it, but if I turn that off, color goes back to normal, and let's narrow our area that we're working in. And let's hit the space bar and see what we get. So you can see it's just kind of coming down, crashing, and then holding, and then going away. Coming down. So now here, I can probably activate my onion skinning, and let's step through. Right there. Now, what I could do is go ahead and load this particular frame as a selection. I'm going to Command or Control click directly on this, and then copy this area. If I just copy it to the clipboard, then advance to my next frame, and then just do a paste. And I can do that for each frame. Let's save that selection because it's going to lose my selection each time. So let's go ahead and save it as a selection. Advance to the next frame. Fill that layer in. Next frame. Fill it in. Next frame. Fill it in. And that just prolongs that lightning staying there for a moment. So if I turn off my onion skinning, comes down, it holds. So if I play it through, comes down and it holds there. And then of course here I could apply other effects as well. So the way to look at this is like each frame of your video layer is a separate Photoshop file. So you can do it, you can do whatever. You can apply filters, you can import images, you can do all kinds of interesting things, just treating it as frame by frame animation. Now let's jump over and look at the video clip that's in the article, which is a skateboarder. And here I've just taken this, it's just a skateboarder jumping in the air and then landing and everything like that. What I did first was I converted this to a smart object because I'm going to apply a filter to it. And I want the filter to affect the entire video clip. Now if I just applied a filter to a particular frame on a video layer, then it's only going to affect that one frame. But by converting it to a smart object, it's in fact referencing the video clip, so it applies the filter to the entire sequence. So with that as a smart object, let's go into the filter menu and choose Stylize find edges. And you can see that it's giving me an interesting result, but I don't want any color information in this. It's actually, you can see there's all these kind of scattered color information. I'm going to remove that by adding an adjustment layer and using hue saturation. Let's take the saturation all the way to 0, or negative 100 rather. Click OK. So there that clip is desaturated, and it's got an interesting line effect to it. Well, here's where I can go and do some more interesting stuff. If I take it right about here and create a new blank layer or blank video layer, as we did earlier, and now I have that at the very top. If I select my video clip itself, use my quick selection tool, and just generate a quick selection of this area here. Let's add that in there. Go over here and get a color from my color picker. In this case, let's get like a green color. Highlight my blank video layer and just fill that layer, or fill that selected area with that color. And then highlight that video clip again. Let's generate a selection of this area here. And let's choose a different color perhaps. Let's get a blue color. Highlight the video clip itself, or the blank video layer. Fill that in. And let's do one last area, which is the arm right there. So highlighting the video clip using my quick selection. Let's get that arm selected. Let's get kind of a skin tone color here. And let's highlight that video clip, fill that selected area in, and there we have that. Now, notice it's only on that one frame because we're on a video layer, which means I'd have to go ahead and step through to where that color is. There's that clip. Step to the next frame, which is blank, and then go through the process all over again. So again, this is very tedious work, rotoscoping, but with the help of some of the Photoshop filters and some other things like that, you can lessen the process by applying effects to entire video clips and then just adding certain rotoscoped effects along the way. Now, it doesn't have to be a sequence of frames. You can add a quick flash of something. You know, if you got a video clip and you just want to simulate a camera flash, just select a frame and invert its values. Just go into the image menu and adjustments, go to invert, and you can almost get like a camera flash effect on certain video clips. In fact, let me show you that real quick before we finish up here. Let's go ahead and get back to our original clip here. So if you just go along here and maybe you just want to do quick invert here, let's go under image. Actually, no, if I do this, what's going to happen? It's going to apply it to the entire sequence because we're in a smart object. So let's open up that smart object and reveal the video clip. So now, if I go in here and right about this point here, go into the image menu, adjustments, invert, gives you that really interesting effect. But going to the next frame, it's going to go back to normal because it's a video clip. And if I scroll through, boom, it has like a cool strobe effect. So you can do that every other frame perhaps. So if it's done here, let's go 2 frames over. Just press Command or Control I, invert it again, step, couple frames over, Command I, couple 3 frames over, Command I, and when you play it back, you get an interesting kind of strobe effect. It's like, and this is probably something you see in movie trailers a lot. Really fast, quick transitions and other things like that. But this is all done in Photoshop. It's all really cool stuff you can do in Photoshop with video layers. So I hope that gives you a clearer understanding of using video and rotoscoping all inside Photoshop CS3 Extended.